And it's Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services, Talking Business, another episode as we talk to experts in the field of digital marketing, direct marketing, banking, insurance, customer service. And we're going to talk to my colleague, Jack Hojnar from our Chicago office today. Jack, how are you?
I'm great, and I feel compelled to explain to everyone why I'm wearing a Yankees hat, because there's two reasons. One, it's in honor of you, a Yankees fan.
Okay.
And the other is because, and you and I spoke about this earlier, it's not because I have a haircut issue, because clearly there's no hair to cut, but I have a huge welt and a cut on my forehead from playing baseball with my son over the weekend that I want to cover up because I'd look quite silly. So I found a baseball hat that fit for you, a Yankees one. How's that?
Looks good. Looks good. I know you're a lifetime White Sox fan.
I am.
Jack, we're about 4 weeks now working from home, and we're with tremendous admiration for all the healthcare workers around the country, especially right in our neighborhood here, and I'm in White Plains, New York, just north of New York City. But it's sort of this new normal that's taken hold. How is everything going for you on this new, as we just work through this coronavirus crisis situation?
I'll answer it two ways. One is from a work perspective, really no big change for me. There's been some modifications. Working from home is fine, but with me being out of Chicago, I'm missing, quite frankly, being on the road and traveling out to see you guys. So I enjoy that part of my job. But from getting work done, piece of cake. There's really been no drop off from my experience. The hard part is the sanity check. I was talking with someone from our office this morning about how the weekends are a drag because work at least gets you engaged with people like we're doing right now. And on the weekends, you're kind of secluded to your own groups. So everything's been fine. Just a few sanity checks every once in a while for sure on the social aspects of life. Other than that, everything's great. How about you?
Good. We're talking to a number of business leaders in our interview series, talk with two community bankers who've really done a great job helping small business with the rollout of the CARES Act, and especially the Payroll Protection Act. Over 4,000 banks have participated, and many of the community banks are really taking care of the smaller customers that may not have relationships with the larger banks. So we talked to Kevin O'Connor of B&B Bank out in Long Island, and John Tolmer of CEO of the Westchester Bank right near us in the White Plains, and a really great story about how they were able to set up processing literally in a matter of days to handle thousands of loan requests. So I think it's a nice story for the banking industry, the way they've been able to jump in and help on that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Now, Jack, today I know you want to talk about a blog that you are going to be releasing, an article in our next company newsletter going out this week. And you are focusing on contactless payment systems using mobile phones and other devices. Tell us about your blog topic.
Sure. Thanks, Ken. I was going to write about something completely different for our upcoming newsletter that we send out to our clients. And then over the weekend, my son had wanted to go to, there's two local restaurants that we're supporting. When I say local, I mean non-chain, real small mom and pop shops. In Chicago, Italian beef is a big thing. And then we certainly have a great Chinese restaurant that we'd like to go to. And our two favorite spots are small carry-out only places. No tables, no chairs, just kind of walk in and get it. Both of which are always packed, long lines. And so my son said, let's have Chinese. I was about to get in the car and just run over there because you don't even call ahead. You just have to wait in line. It's one of those places. And as I'm driving there, I went, oh, crap. They only take cash. And given the current environment, I didn't want to have to go to the ATM and deal with pressing buttons, right? I didn't want to have to then take cash and wipe it down. I didn't want to have to get change and have to I didn't want to transact with things that would get my hands dirty, right? All because of what we're challenged with right now. And so I'm a huge fan. Apple came out with, they announced Apple Pay in 2014. I think it really rolled out in 2015. And in local areas and nationally, but at least by me, Walgreens and McDonald's were the first two in my area to start carrying it. So as soon as I could get Apple Pay on my phone and go, I went to McDonald's and put the phone up there, put my thumb against the reader and transacted. And I've been hooked ever since. So I'm a huge fan of contactless payments, mostly because I'm a propeller head at heart and I like the technology. And second, because I think it's safe and secure. And third, because it's just fast. Now, I recognize that contactless payments, and this is the crux of the article, and thank you for indulging me a little bit here. I recognize that contactless payments requires some card mechanism, and not everyone's comfortable with that. Not everyone's also good with managing their money. I tend to be pretty good with paying off my bills at a particular rate and all those other kinds of things. So using a credit card isn't a big deal. But if there's ever a time for people to consider contactless payments, and in particular setting up, because contactless payments can come in the form of debit cards too. If there's ever a time to set it up with a credit card, if people can do that, I recognize there's some challenges with doing that. I'd highly encourage it. I know many credit cards now come with the NFC type little symbol. It looks like a Wi-Fi symbol you'd have on your phone just on its side, which means you don't have to dip, is what they call it, is when you stick your reader into the chip reader, you don't have to swipe, you can just tap. In fact, if you really want to get into it, it was in 1997, I believe, that mobile gas stations came out with Speed Pass. They were one of the first true transaction devices. You just set up your Speed Pass with some form of credit to your mobile account, and then you could tap and pay for gas that way. So it's not as though contactless payments is a foreign concept or real new. This was around in the late 90s. So then it got me to thinking a little bit further on the topic. So not only is it a great exchange, but then we've got, if you're going to transact as much as we're transacting, and I recognize that retail sales have dropped around 30%. And we could talk to some stats about that. And I also recognize that travel's dropped considerably. Grocery sales are through the roof. If you have, though, a credit card that rewards you in some way, because there's reward programs to credit cards, so let's talk about those. Excellent opportunity to gain points. There's been a 30% increase in grocery purchases. Not surprised, right?
Yeah.
So with cashback cards, or if you have a loyalty program that provides you rewards in some way. I know we can't travel now, but you can still earn points towards travel once things start to open up. To me, that is another reason why not only contactless payments, but credit cards make sense. And then finally and selfishly, we are in the insurance business for credit cards and financial services. And so you've got your near-term benefits of rewards, cashback, and you got your longer-term benefits that, like warranty manager or auto rental insurance or trip delay or trip cancellation, that come with that card as well. So the ability to use this device or to tap your card at places and then get all the other ancillary benefits associated with not having to touch things, being able to move through quickly, to know that your purchases are actually more secure than the old methods we used to use. Yes, there's nothing as secure as cash. There's no data tracking of you at all with cash. I get that. The new processes with these contactless payments, though, make it so that information is not exchanged. So that's really the core of the article, is to remind us that contactless payments exist, not only because we can avoid having to do some contact stuff that could spread germs or other diseases, but all the other ancillary benefits. That's really what I talk about. So thanks for letting me ramble on for a while there.
No, it's a great subject, and I look at it as a backup in case you forget your wallet, or you lose a credit card or a debit card while away from home.
Oh, I lost you a little bit there.
Our friend Sally French of Wirecutter wrote a whole story about that last month, which reached the New York Times. And tell us, Jack, what are some of the major platforms? I know if you have an iPhone, you use one, you use an Apple. If you have an Android, like I do, you use something else. And what are some of the major platforms for being able to make transactions on your phone?
Yeah, well, so there's also, there's always peer-to-peer things like Venmo you can use. Apple Pay is obviously out there. Android Pay is out there as well. Your credit card itself, depending upon what kind you have, typically has, or even your debit card in some cases, have the ability to just do a tap as opposed to using the chip reader or the swipe. By the way, all the things we're talking about apply to online things as well, right? There's different mechanisms to keep online purchases safe and secure. Setting these things up is super simple. Most retailers, excuse me, most banks would like people to use these things because there's a concept called top of wallet that you probably remember from our old marketing days, right,
Sure.
where we wanted to have someone pull out a particular card at a point of transaction. And we've coined it, not that we own it, but we've talked about top of app all the time. And so when you have your payment vehicle and it's top of app, it tends to be the one that you use more frequently. However, you can within the app pick and choose which card mechanism you want to have. So I've got 3 different cards loaded on here, and I'll use each one depending upon what type of rewards I want to use. So that exists with the Android platform as well.
Very good. And certainly the issuers that we work with want to remind their customers about attaching their credit card to their phone, to their customer's phone, so that they take advantage of what you've been describing, and so that the issuer then also will get a lot of transactions as customers get more comfortable using their phone for routine transactions, especially during this COVID virus period, as you described.
Well, and then there's other mechanisms too. Starbucks, as you know, famously, I think, I say famously because I think they get a lot of attention, started out doing the same thing. And all they're really doing is creating a reloadable card environment, which we know very well.
Yeah.
And so, as you know, with your Starbucks app, I believe the Potbelly sandwich chain, I don't know if there's some out in New York by you. It started here in Chicago, but Potbelly's has a similar thing. So another concept of contactless payment is the reloadable app feature, where, for example, at Starbucks, you can put $25 on, for example, and then you use the Starbucks app to draw funds from the card that you load to make your transaction at Starbucks. And then one more thing that I want to point out, even in today's environment where we may be still supporting some local businesses, there are several entities, I believe it's Grubhub and DoorDash, I think. I got to go back and do some more research on this, but they used to offer cash on delivery services. So food delivery services used to allow cash on delivery, and many have removed that feature from their apps for exactly this purpose. So on the flip side of things, delivery agencies or entities are trying to reduce the cash exchange piece for themselves too.
Okay, now Jack Hojnar, look forward to your blog coming out in our next CBSI company newsletter to be out this week. Do you have a final thought for us today?
Boy, Ken, I wish I had something marvelous to say or insightful, but I'm pretty much vanilla and a butter knife, so I don't have much more than that.
Well, it's a good thought about customers thinking more about setting up to do contactless payments on their mobile devices for a lot of reasons, but one is, as you said, convenience and safety during this COVID virus crisis. Jack Hojnar, always a pleasure, and we'll look forward to reading your blog this week, and you have a good rest of the day and stay safe.
You too. Thanks, man. Talk to you soon.
Our pleasure. And this is Ken Kraetzer, another edition of CBSI Services Talking Business, representing our team based in Harrison, New York. We have 40 years experience in providing insurance-based benefits to the consumer payments industry and credit cards. And always a shout out to our team, which have done a great job managing customer service for our clients and their customers during this COVID virus situation. So Jack Hojnar, thank you again. And for our team at CBSI Services, this is Ken Kraetzer. Have a good day, everybody, and stay safe.